Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name's Emily. I've been AWOL for a month. I'm fine. Thank you to everyone who's reached out to ask me if I'm okay. I'm fine. Just life is just taken over and I've had hardly any time to stitch, and basically in June I did a lot of days, a lot of extra hours because we were a bit short-staffed and I was fairly new to the job. So we had to kind of step in and step up, so I did. And when I got my days off, I had to go down to Cambridge, and then the following week, which kind of eats 2 days and leaves me exhausted, and then the following week I finished off at the golf club. I did sort of 2 very early mornings and 2 full days just to make good, not quite finish working my notice fully. So I've made good with them, I'm done with them, I'm no longer anything to do with that, which is good news. So I did that 1 week, and then the following week I had to go back down and collect Maddie and bring her home. So she's home now, all's good, everyone's fine, but it's left me a bit. So now going into July, I'm in a much better pattern, 4 days on, 3 days off through July. So I'm currently on my 3rd day off. I look a bit more human, and I thought, you know what, probably been a whole month now, I better make myself a little video and just catch up with you. I haven't done a whole lot of stitching. I'll find before pictures and after pictures and things, but the progress might be very sketchy. First thing to openly admit, I did not reach my goal for the first month in 14 months. I did not reach my goal in Treasure Hunt Bookshelf, considering I only needed to do 0.5%. 0.75%. I think I was at 14.25, wasn't I? Yeah, it was really hard. 13.25. Where am I now? Yeah, I was at 13.25, and yesterday I finally hit my 14%, which I should have finished in June, but I didn't because I've just I'm working 12 to 13 hour shifts, which makes the hours up over 4 days. So I leave the house to take my kids to school. I get up at 6:30, take my kids, get my kids up, get them ready, leave for school 8:10, get to work for 9, do 12, 13 hours. It's further away. It takes me 40 minutes to get home. I'm getting in 10, 10:30. I'm done. I need to have a quick shower to get all the work off me, and I'm in bed and I'm sleeping. So on my work days, I don't have time for anything else. And as I adjust I'm already adjusting to it. I'm already feeling better. I'm feeling brighter. I'm not feeling quite so exhausted in the evenings already. So hopefully going forwards, I'll have a little bit of time for myself and feel a bit better about it. But it's been a transition from long days, but you know, spread over more days, to concentrated hours and time off. And then, but my time off in the last month has completely been used up to the point where I've just been exhausted. So not a lot of stitching. So my poor Treasure Hunt Bookshelf took the hit. I have done, so technically for the month I am now at 14.01. So I've only done 100 stitches so far of this month's stitches, but there should be progress. I'll put up here where it was in my last video. Not a lot of progress from then, I'm afraid, and it's now looking a bit like this. So, oh, the light's good for this today. So what I've done is I've essentially filled in an awful lot of the top. Not completely, obviously. It's not done by any stretch of the imagination. That you can see there's lots of gaps, but I've got a really good key start, so I can pick up anywhere pretty much and stitch down from here if I want to. Say I want to go and do something down here, I can just go from these stitches straight down rather than working from this side. I'm currently back over this side. I'm doing a big chunk of 823. There's a lot of dark blue here in 823, so I'm currently just trekking on, needles there, trekking on here and putting in a load of 823. But this piece here is completely filled with white. Probably can't see because you can still see the grid lines under, but this bit This bit isn't. This bit's not filled in yet, but this bit has a lot of stitches in it. It's a little bit of pink. You can see there where I've not filled the pink behind, but it's 819, so it's that very, very pale pink. This has the 819 in this side, and that side there doesn't, you can see. So this bit's filled, and then I've done quite a lot across the top there, and I'm happy with that. And now I'm going back over, picking back up, because this bit's done, picking back up, and I'll do a bit, I'll go a bit this way again. But that was what I wanted to do, was stitch across the top and find the corner, which I did, and then I've just down tooled. I just haven't had the time, but it's not so much even the time, it's the energy. I've been very batteries flat. So anyway, currently working here. As I say, there's a good chunk of there is there's a lot of 823 all the way across there. Don't know if you can see there on my pattern keeper, all the bright green there. So I'm currently on this bit here, but I'll do all of this round here. I'll get all of this green in, oh, the green that is navy blue. I'll get all of that in, I think, this month. And just try and put in a big chunk of just like a whole skein. See if I can just put a whole skein of 823 into it, which will be a lot of stitches, which will help catch me up a little bit. And then I'll tackle confetti another month. I need to do big chunks of colour this month to catch myself up. So I've only got 3 weeks now, 3 and a bit weeks to get my percent in, which I'm going to try to do. So that's my treasure hunt bookshelf. Sadly missed for the first month in 14. So it was going to happen sooner or later, which is why I gave myself 10 years, because that builds in 2 months to get behind kind of each year, but I didn't in the first year. Equally, the 12 Days of Christmas is not finished. That is my 6th. I can probably concentrate on this and get it done in a day and a bit if I'm off, you know, if I'm off work. I might tackle this next week when I'm off next week, and try and get it done, because I need to do 6 and I need to do 7 to catch up with myself. But who knows if I'm going to have time. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you've not seen me before or have forgotten because I've been missing so long, I'm doing the Bothy Threads 12 Days of Christmas kit for my mum for Christmas. I'm going to finish them as little flat fold cards and put them in a little box so she can put them up on her mantel shelf every day of the 12 Days of Christmas, because I know she'll like that. A finished project's always good too. So my number 6, I accidentally started them upside down. Doesn't matter, they're being cut out anyway. So yes, a lot of the blue's done. There's not a lot of the blue to go, but as you can see, there's a tiny bit of gold in this corner and down here, and that's it. So I really need to get him done. So that's my 12 Days of Christmas. I'll still put a picture up of where it was last time, because it's there now. I've just not had time. I'll quickly show you my stitching goddess, which would have been there in my last video. I think I possibly did a little bit more on her. I think I possibly just filled in the rest of her dress. That's where she is now. I'm on a squirrel. I filled in all that dress colour, but I've pretty much given up on her for now. She's very pretty. I've done a chunk. She's going to go back in the drawer for now. Yeah, never mind. I got behind myself. You know, I wanted to get things finished this year, and I did really well for the first bit of the year, and then had that sort of came to a stopping crisis point at work where I just had to change my job, which, you know, has thrown everything out of balance. Equally, my Pilgrim, which is out of the Q-snap for a very good reason. Not because it's finished, because it's not. Here, if I have a picture, don't know if I do. This is where I've down tooled him. So I've just started what will be page 9. So it's finished to there. I just have no, that's page 9, 10, 11 and 12 to go, and it'll be finished. But that's where my Pilgrim is. The rest of it's done. It's just, and there's some back stitching needing to go on it, but again, out of the Q-snap will be put away for now, because I've been craving working on Pandemic. Now, I'll pull it from my whip parade, but I should have a picture of my Pandemic where it was probably all of last year. It was at 11.24%. No, 11.14%. And it is now at, considering I picked it up yesterday, but I've been wanting to stitch on it for ages. I've just been thinking about it and thinking I really must pull it out and stitch on it. So I have. Let me find it. Oh crikey, it's a long way up. And considering I only picked it up yesterday, it's now at 12.16. So I have put 1 whole % in, which is nearly 800 stitches. So I've done over 800 stitches in it. Again, if I've pulled a picture, I've shown you. And it is right now, this minute, always hold it up the wrong way, there. And as you can see, my Pandemic is very stylized. This is a piece of 40 count linen. It's green, it's ocean. I think it's ocean. It's Picture This Plus. I was really happy and really lucky to snag in the UK, bought from the UK, got it from Patchwork Rabbit I think, and it was so lucky to get hold of it. It's tidal. It's tidal, it's not ocean, it's tidal. Anyway, because I'm using Mrs. Sadus Hydrangea, which is basically the same colour as the fabric, which makes it insanely hard to stitch. I have made so many mistakes. I might have frogged, for the 300 stitches I've stitched today, I've probably frogged out 80 or 90 already today. I make so many mistakes on this because it's hard, because you can't see what you're doing, because in reality I'm on a very purpley bit of thread at the moment, but when you're on a green bit of thread, it's basically the same colour, which is exactly the look I wanted. I wanted it to look dainty and delicate and almost like lace. But it's really hard. So, I mean, this is pathetic. It's such a beautiful pattern and I've made such a pathetic start. And I've been stitching on this for like, this is the 3rd year I've been stitching on this and it's really not progressed. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to pull them out, I'm going to stitch on it. So here's my ball of hydrangea, which looks very purple. I mean, look, the contrast is like, oh wow. But I'm using 1 strand. And then you get these bits, like there, where it gets very pale. This is the darker ball of this that I've got. I've got several balls, and this is how I've been dealing with my big skein. This was a big skein. I just rolled it into a ball. I'm a knitter. Probably not how you're meant to deal with it, but that's what I do. And I'm not colour controlling this at all. I know my Pilgrim, I'm using Mrs. Sadus Silk on my Pilgrim as well. And I'm kind of colour controlling it a little bit. I didn't at first, but I started to. This is completely random. It's wherever the colour goes, is where the colour goes. So this bit, first bit here was very green. This ball here I've picked up is very purple. So this bit's being very purpley, and we'll just see what happens to it. So I've got a full hank. I use 1 strand because it's 40 count. I'm going over 2 obviously, because there's no way my eyes would do 40 stitches an inch at all, ever. And that's where I've got to. So I've basically put in, I picked up here and did all of this. I came down this line, I put this in, I frogged it out, I put it in, I frogged it out. This line here didn't meet up, so I had to frog this out, which, because I've miscounted off here, this line. So now everything matches up, and I'm now coming down here. There is a big mistake in here because I forgot to put in the change, these little, where it changes direction. Yeah, I didn't change direction. I was just going to batter straight up because I didn't check the pattern. Yeah, so it's full of mistakes, but I'm trying my best to catch them and fix them, because on a long dog, on a big long dog like this that's so dense stitching, they compound themselves, the mistakes, and you end up a long way out. Like my Anzac ended up a long way out because I wasn't careful, and if I made a mistake I went, yeah, it's fine, and kept going. Long dogs, you can do it to an extent, like this cornucopia is wrong. It's quite wrong, but this is right and that is right. It's the cornucopia in the middle that's placed wrong. But because he's not interfering with anything else, I've left him. This here, where I didn't change the direction of the zigzag properly, I've left that because it doesn't impact the rest of the stitching. Anything like these, where you then place things off them, I'm making sure they're right, which is a pain in the bum. But I have my pandemic. I found some of the thread. I was frankly surprised I managed to find some because it's everywhere. I found little balls of it everywhere. This is my big ball. And I'm going to keep going with him because I love it. It's hard, but I love it. And then the other thing I've got to show you is a new start. Because I was tired, and I'm just finding it in Pattern Keeper, sorry, it's not like I'm not looking. I started the Peekaboo Sea Beacon, and she's lovely. She's absolutely lovely, and it's just a piece taken from, she's not that colour at all, that's just the colour it's showing on my very sad swollen battery phone. My poor phone that's hanging in there. Yeah, look at the battery now. Still going, still fine. Anyway, I started this because I wanted to. Finally, I was gifted a full set of threads for it, which I can't find. They're down in my hoard, which I need to find because and at the minute, all I'm doing is the 939. It's Jasmine Beckett Griffith big picture. Obviously it's a Haid, and it's not very big. It is, sorry, I'm going to have to go back in and look at the PDF again. It's 150 by 297 because it's just a piece of, she's a full-size lady standing on a rock with sky and sea, and it's very dramatic and very lovely, and I'd love to stitch the whole one. I just bought the Peekaboo and I ratcheted about in my stash of fabric, of which I have some lovely fabric. I was looking for a piece of Ada, obviously, and you'll laugh at what I did. So I found a bit that I bought on, the only time I've ever bought anything off like Facebook Marketplace, off one of the buy and sell groups, and it was the fabrics up for offer were all numbered, and I said something like, can I have 1, 3, 4 and 5? Yeah, sure. Paid for them, got them in the post really quickly, but I got like 1, 6, 9 and 12. She totally sent the wrong pieces, so I've been left with these pieces of fabric that were just, like, it wasn't worth it, you know, for like the 20 quid I paid for these pieces of fabric. I just totally didn't get the bits I asked for, which it didn't matter. But I've talked about this before because I've over dyed some of this. So this has been dyed, I think it's 18 count, but it might be a bit smaller now because it's been over dyed, and it's kind of lilac with a like a navy blue splatter on it. It's not even really speckling, as you can see. It's not very pretty, but it's nice soft Ada. So you can see what I've done. I counted along and it fits really nicely on this piece. It's going to fit really nicely, and what I did when I went to start it, I drew all the grid lines on with my pen, except I was super tired and I drew them on really badly, and some of them were 9s and some of them were 11s, and honestly I couldn't even count to 10 and draw lines. So basically I gridded the whole piece. So basically I washed it, pegged it out on the line. I washed it a bit. I'd like put a wet paper towel just to lift the pen. I did that bit better than this bit. But so I'm on the 939. This is all. So whenever I pick this up, I can just do 100, 200 stitches of 939, fill in a bit. I'm currently at 2.5%. It's 44,500 stitches, so it's not massive. But I've wanted to start her for a while. She's been loaded into Pattern Keeper for months, like 6, 8 months, probably loaded into Pattern Keeper. Yeah, oh, more than that. I loaded her in before the new year. So I'm going to find my threads. Until then, I'm just going to chug on with 939. But when I find the packs of threads that are all together in a Ziploc, all together, they've just fallen into the hoard. So I need to find them, pull them out, put them in one of my little boxes, put them in one of these so that I've got them all together, and then I can stitch a different colour, but it'll use up this piece of weird lilac Ada, and it fits on here, and it's going to look lovely. It's going to be quite dramatic because she's quite big, because that's the top of her hair there, and that's the side of her head, so it only comes to about here, and she's going to have a great big eye about there, I think. Great big eye. It's going to be beautiful. So I started that just so that even if I'm super tired, I can put in, you can see what I've been doing, just filling in a block, a couple of strands. So I'm doing this 2 strands to get the really good coverage, because I think it's 18, it might be 19 count, I'm not totally sure, but I'm using 2 strands and got my little head on the go. Oops. But I just wanted something that I could just pick up and not even have to, obviously I counted along, look, I counted along really well, and then got to the other end and then did the little twiddly bits, did the line, came down, did the little bits that are in her hairline there, and then came down. That's the start. There's a little bit more there, and then I can just do it whenever I want, just a little bit here and there. So that's a bit of a start of the Peekaboo Sea Beacon, and that I think is all my stitching that I've actively done. It's not massive, not tons, no time, no energy and drive, and there's a chainsaw. Yay. Anyway guys, I'm good, I'm fine. I'm going to hopefully try and get back on track. If I don't get back on track on a weekly basis, I'm going to try and do it 2 weekly. It's just life at the moment, but I actually think he's doing that on purpose. I'm sure you can hear the chainsaw just revving for no reason at all. It's not even cutting anything with it making that noise. He knows I'm up here recording. Anyway, right guys, I will see you soon, hopefully. I'm absolutely fine. It's just life's got in the way just lately and made me a little bit burst. But Maddie's home, there's no more trucking down to Cambridge now until back into September. So that's great. Oh no, he's cutting my willow with a chainsaw. I've got a living hedge. That's what he's doing. Right, okay guys, it's not going to get any quieter. I'm going to go. And I'll see you really soon, and thanks for hanging in there and checking in on me. Quite a lot of you have checked in on me, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm all good. I'm just trying to balance everything up at the moment. I'll see you soon guys, and hopefully it'll only be soon. Yeah, bye for now. Sorry about the chainsaw noise. Bye guys.